All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm doing something kind of weird here. I have not seen the trailer for Rings of Power Season 2, so I'm going to watch that and do a little reaction video for you guys. And then maybe if we get enough traction by the time the season comes about, we'll do maybe some watch parties or reaction videos to that. I don't know. So yeah. Remember, if you're new here, make sure to go ahead and subscribe, like this video, head on over to Substack, dltucker.substack.com. This is more fun content. Typically, I do stuff with the Modern Quest about embracing responsibility, discipline, things like that. So, anyway, without further ado, let's check this out. Okay. Wow. Just wow. So Amazon, they know what they're doing. They know how to make a trailer that's really captivating. All the trailers for season one looked very good, and then that turned out to be a pretty big disappointment. So we'll go back well, not frame by frame necessarily, but we'll review some parts here that I'm really excited for. But my biggest reaction there when my mouth dropped is when I realized we had a live character live action version on screen of, spoiler warning, Tom Bombadil. So if you've seen the trailer, the guy with the hat and the blue shirt, that's Tom Bombadil. He's a super annoying character that's in the books. It was completely taken out of the Lord of the Rings movies, Peter Jackson's movies. And he's really annoying in the in the books actually, because all he does is kind of sing songs and he doesn't really give straight answers. Um, and he's a really cool character, but man, he's annoying when it comes to the man. So I got super excited because, as a nerd, I just want to see this. So let's go back here. So just so you know, I am not like a Lord of the Rings expert by any means. I mean, 10 years ago, I would have told you that I was a Lord of the Rings movie expert. Like, I had seen those movies so many times that I could have, you know, I could have just listened to if you just took out, you could even take out the dialogue. If you just had the audio, like the soundtrack, I could have done all of the dialogue word for word with the exact inflection points because I had seen them so many times. I can't do that anymore because I haven't watched the trilogy all the way through. Well, we watched it in New Zealand about a year ago now, but I haven't watched it over and over since then, the way I used to at least. So let's go back and talk about this. And I'm just watching this on the official Prime Video YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description below. So it opens with Halbrand, which we know is Sauron in his man form behind some gates that are opening. Now, at one point, I saw Halbrand and Sauron in his elf form. One of the biggest problems with there were multiple problems with the first season. Spoiler alert for all of this. So, um, Sauron, in the original story, so to speak, let me just grab it for you. Silmarillion. In the Silmarillion, we had this is the creation story and first age of all of Arda, which includes Middle Earth. It includes the coming of um, the men of Numenor to Middle Earth. Um, it has the the High Elves going from Valinor to Middle Earth and then back, and it's just it's an incredible, very difficult to read book, but very incredible. This is not really the source material because Amazon did not get rights to this content. They got content to what's called the Second Age of Middle Earth, which just doesn't have that much written about it. The only thing that we really know is that, well, like there's certain characters that were in the first age and then in the third age, so they must have lived through the second age, which is pretty cool. Um, yeah. So we don't really know that much about the second age, but when it comes to like the making of the rings, which the first season ended on the making of the three rings of the elves, which I believe were actually the last rings to be made. But in the story as we know it, I'm out here in the living room with my dogs, if you hear them, and the camera's about to get bumped and it might get knocked over by a puppy who needs to go lay down. Um, sorry. Uh, so where was I? Yeah, the making of the rings. As far as we know, it took Sauron like hundreds of years for him to convince Celebrimbor, the elven smith, to actually make the rings. So then, and then in like the last episode of season one, it took him like 10 minutes, and it was really disappointing. But then in the trailer, we saw him. It looks like it was him in elf form, and Celebrimbor didn't recognize him. I need to make sure that that is Celebrimbor. I'm pretty sure I have the names right, you guys. I'm like I said, I'm not an expert, so yeah, Celebrimbor. Yeah, like I said, not an expert. So I just some of the words or all the names I'm not gonna know off the top of my head. So it starts with him behind a gate that's opening. He's in man form on a horse. Uh, Galadriel is doing some uh, narration. Adar, some tree. I want to know about that tree. Is that the? Oh, it could be. So in Valinor, there were two trees that provided light, and so I wonder if that's one of the trees that was dead. I can't. Sorry, guys, I can't remember everything. Okay, Galadriel accepted her ring, put it on. At least it appeared to. All the elves now. Galadriel believes that the ring is guiding her. She's with Elrond. All of it being be by his design. Okay, there's Gil-galad, the High King of the Noldor, the High Elven King, and then the third. There were three Elven rings. One went to Galadriel, one went to Gil-galad, and the third I want to say went to. Um, he was the shipmaker. People who watch this video know me are gonna be like, "What are you thinking? How do you not know this?" Um, God, the fire. No. Um, Círdan, Círdan, Cirdan, Círdan, Círdan. Um, Eventually, it goes to Gandalf in the story once he learns his Gandalf's um, role in Middle Earth. He believes that the ring will help him. Who is this man? He is no man, which is of course a callback to the line in the movie, "I am no man," right there. Okay, elves are facing some sort of. It looks like a necromancer. And then Celebrimbor sees fire. What am I to call you? Celebrimbor says, and then it's clearly Halbrand in elven form, which Sauron is a shapeshifter. Um, it's clearly Halbrand. I don't know how he doesn't recognize him there because they definitely spent time. A sharer of gifts is what he tells Celebrimbor to call him. Okay, now it's the hobbits and Gandalf. Is it my task to stop the fire? Palantir to try and cheat death. Balrog might lead to an even greater catastrophe. The Durin, the king, has a ring. So the 7 dwarf rings have been made. Darkness will bind them, it says. Every soul in Middle Earth is in peril. Dead trees everywhere. Will you abandon them to their doom? That's kind of the similar lines from the movies when Galadriel's saying, Middle Earth is, we are leaving, the elves were leaving Middle Earth, and she says to um, Elrond, should we abandon it to its fate? Adar is saying, leave Sauron to me, which is exactly what Christopher Lee said in the Hobbit movie. It looks like Adar just got pierced by many arrows. Elrond is wearing armor. Tom Bombadil just put on his hat. There's an ant. I need your axe, old friend. Elendil. Giant spiders. The bird. The eagle. Gwaihir. And then Halbrand says to Celebrimbor, you will give me the 9, which is the 9 rings of to the mortal men, the kings. Death to our foes. Luna! Go lay down. She won't listen. Orcs being charged. And then it says the Lord of the Rings. The Rings of Power, new season, August 29th. Okay. The Palantir is sweet. I'm worried that I'm wrong about this being Tom Bombadil, but I feel like that's very clearly Tom Bombadil. Sorry, I'm just looking at this character. It's clearly, it's got to be Tom Bombadil. So we know that the old wizard guy is Gandalf because there's a quote in the first season that he says something like "Follow your nose," which is not a Tolkien line. It's actually a Peter Jackson line from Fellowship of the Ring. Let's just see what IMDb is listing it as. Okay. Yes. Yes. I I hope that they do him in a less annoying way. Like I saw this question on Reddit once that was like Tom Bombadil versus Thanos, like who's more powerful kind of thing. And someone put Tom Bombadil would sing songs until he annoyed Thanos so much that he would just basically annoy him to death. Because Tom Bombadil is a very interesting character because like he helps the hobbits, but he just like sings to them and like nature follows, like he tells nature what to do to help, save the hobbits. But then, like, and it's like right after they've, or right as they're leaving the Shires when they run into him, um, he puts on the ring and it has absolutely no effect on him, which is just a weird. It's like he cares so little, he has no attachment, so that's why the ring has no power over him, which is an amazing feat. But it's like, you know, he could take the ring to Mordor and save everybody else, but he just doesn't. So then it's like, okay, so who is Tom Bombadil? He claims to be the oldest creature alive in Middle Earth. Well, I don't know. Because Treebeard actually claims to be that in the Two Towers, in the book at least. So, man, I'm gonna watch this a few more times. Um, I'm actually really excited. I think that this could be good. I think that they set up enough to make this better. So what the first season got way wrong was the pacing. The main thing is that the pacing was just all over the place, and like they would take like, 2 episodes to tell one tiny thing, and then the last episode was like 10 minutes and like, all this stuff happened, and you're like, whoa, that was like the climax. It was just too much, right? So too much in too little time. Their pacing was all over the place. They need to figure that part out. They need to have better set points for development. Stop yawning. The next thing that they need to do is um, they need to get characters' motivation set straight, right? In the original trilogy movie set, it was very clear from the get-go who the evil person was and why it was a bad thing for him to have power, for him to have this one ring. Um, it's not exactly clear who's doing what and why yet. I guess like the character motivations are not clearly set. But the set designs are actually absolutely incredible. The casting is superb. Elrond, I don't even know that guy's name, but Elrond is the probably the best casting choice that they made to fill in for Hugo Weaving. Is a That's a daunting task, but the person that they chose is absolutely perfect. You can see the emotion, you can see the wisdom, you can see the caution to with which he uses to approach different situations. It's incredible what he does. So um and he just portrays that role very well. The next would be Morfydd Clark, I believe is her name, as Galadriel, which that was one of my biggest fears. It's like, okay, if you're going to center this on Galadriel, that's fine. That's fine. Who are you going to cast to replace Kate Blanchett, the greatest actress of all time? Who are you going to get to do that? That's not an obvious answer. Well, Morfydd Clark definitely stepped up. They kind of ruined some scenes, like the fighting scene was just way too much. Um, but anytime that there's dialogue, like, you know, she has what it takes. The director needs to do a better job of getting it out of her, I think, in some scenes, but I don't think that that's her fault. I think that's the director not not helping her. Bad dialogue is pretty bad. Yeah, bad dialogue does not help her. Tom Bombadil looks pretty good. Gandalf. Yeah, I'm super excited for this. I'm really thinking that this is going to be a good series. Um, you guys let me know if you want to do like maybe a watch party. I know I have like 3 or 4 people watching. Maybe we could. I would say member exclusive, but there's no such thing. Yeah, or maybe I should just uh, break them down. I'm also going to link to the description Nerd of the Rings. It's right here in my recommended Rings of Power Season 2 trailer breakdown by Nerd of the Rings. They're a really good channel. So if you want to know more about Lord of the Rings in general, they are they have good background information that they can provide you. You can also look up Mid of the West. That's all I have for now. See you next time on The Modern Quest.